feels going into this game versus other weeks?
Different. I do this on Wednesdays now, I guess. Other than that, yeah, obviously it's a lot different, but I feel like I've said this a couple times, but I've been preparing like I was going to be the guy at some point, and that was kind of my job. And so, yeah, my reps are different. Obviously, I'm not on scout team anymore. If anything, Wednesday practices, the plays I'm running, there's supposed to be someone open. It's not always the case on scout team offense. And then just the preparation is a little bit different. Like, you get some of the play calls on Wednesday. Usually, I'm kind of learning those as Joe is calling them. And now it's like, all right, before I go out to practice, I need to call those right so we have a crisp practice and stuff like that. But, yeah, obviously it's different and adjusting to that on the fly, but feel well prepared for that adjustment.
You talk about your routine being a big part of why, as you go through and prep. What's probably the most important thing at this point in the week that you do in your routine to get ready for a weekend?
I think just the last 2 days, you watch a lot of Steelers tape. Feel like I've been in the room when we've played them a lot. Kind of got a good feel, I feel like, for what they're doing on defense at this point in the week. And now it's, okay, what are we doing to attack that or what they do? And so I think that's kind of where you want to be on a Wednesday is, okay, I know what they do. What are we going to do? And then you really start diving into knowing what we're doing on normal downs, third down, red zone as the week progresses.
When did you start your process or coming up with a weekly process if this were to happen? How much consideration did you give? How many changes did you make in it? Or did you come up with it was set in stone from Jump Street?
I've tweaked a little bit of stuff. I think when I was in a backup role, Monday, Tuesday was a little bit like conditioning almost, like let's stay in shape, and Sunday's not super eventful for me, and now that's probably switched a little bit more to recovery stuff and just trying to get my body right. And I've never really had like, okay, here's exactly what I do, and I'm just going to do it like this no matter what. There's always little tweaks you're going to make, and half of that in the early parts of my career to stay engaged. Like, okay, I'm going to try doing an extra lift or something just because you're not getting a ton of reps and you're not playing in the games, and so you got to do something to stay engaged.
Did you do your normal Tuesday thing where you meet with the DBs, or is that now that you're the stat, you don't do that?
I told them I probably will not be in the Tuesday meetings going forward. I think the idea of that when I was in a backup role was, hey, what's the best use of my time to try and help us win? And like I said, when I was in a backup role, I felt like going in there and helping them out was big, and now it's more so me watching the Steelers defense and meeting with Ted or getting a head start on the run game or whatever that is. So you're always trying to find the best use of your time, just like any other job. And so that's an example of one of the adjustments.
Jake, what was the first thing Joe told you when he found out that he was going to be out for the season? Can you tell us what his conversation with you was like?
Yeah, I'll keep some of that private, but it was just, I think he's never had anything but confidence in me from kind of the day I stepped in here and threw a little bit with them was, I think he called me Jakey Spin Rate, or I think him or Brandon Allen called me that. And so I was like, all right, like it always feels a little good. Like I had just gotten cut from Minnesota, basically thought I was going to go become a coach and, stepped into the room. And I remember after the Minnesota game too, him saying like, hey, I really appreciate, what you're saying on the sideline. Like just keep talking to me. And so I was like, okay, I can do that. And just as my career has gone on here, just having a ton of confidence in my ability. And I've always had that too, but it's nice to get some validation there. And I think other than that, it's just been normal conversation, when are you getting surgery, stuff like that, and kind of normal human interaction.
Does the nickname Jakey Spin Rate live on today?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Not as much. I think that was a Brandon Allen nickname, I think. So that kind of died when he left.
Have you allowed yourself to think about how big this could be for your career this stretch, or is it singular focused on the Steelers?
Yeah, I'm not oblivious. I'm not dumb. I know, I've seen this happen for other guys where, it goes well or it doesn't. And so, I think you can never just act like you're not, that hasn't crossed your mind at least once. But I think as time goes on and you kind of get into the week, there's a lot of game planning that goes on throughout a week where you can't just constantly be in la-la land, like what if this goes well? At some point, you kind of got to narrow your focus to playing the Steelers. They're really good on defense, and let's go give them our best shot.
What it means for you, in your, like what he was talking about, is there a sense of also not putting too much pressure on yourself, making sure you're not too tight when you go out there in a moment like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously we lost, but going into the Ravens game and just getting thrown out there on a short week I hadn't taken a rep in this offense in a while. And so, and then having the confidence of like, all right, I went in there, I felt like we could have played better, but it didn't go up in flames. And so just staying loose, like you said, is important. But I think for me, whenever I've played well in my career, it's just been a big focus on play to play, like just focus on operating well. And, I've always been naturally pretty accurate. So I think the less I think about all the different things that could happen, just go play and play fast.
Zach and Brian both talked about, like, you communicate to them, just call the plays, just run the offense. How big was it? Seemed you had everything at your disposal on Thursday, and how important can that be going forward?
Yeah, I think, there's different times where backups go in, and, without knowing that everything that happens on other teams, you sometimes feel like the coach is calling plays to just protect the quarterback, keep them from losing the game, but then never really give them an opportunity to win it. And so my communication with them was basically like, hey, call whatever helps us beat the Ravens. And then I reiterated it again on Saturday, just with the text to pitch was just, hey, let's just call whatever helps us beat the Steelers and, give me that opportunity to go win or lose the game. And don't have the prevailing thought be after the game like, oh, okay, we called this because we wanted to protect Jake. Like that's playing to keep it close. Like we're playing to go win the game. So just call whatever's going to help us win.